pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm gonna wait on that to see if that
Okay.
statement.
Okay. We'll do roll call.
Roll call, Paul Cassidy.
Here.
Tanya Hogan, here. Jerry Golka.
Here.
John DeBoyer.
Here.
Mark Burchard.
Here.
Maureen Bory.
Here.
Brian Campbell, absent, excused.
We'll go to bills payable.
Are we going to remove from the consent agenda Brian Campbell's resignation letter and move it to
1E,
1E?
so it coincides with those.
Correct.
I'll second that.
We don't have to vote, we just move it.
I would also like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add 1I, if we could vote to move our May 12th meeting back to this meeting hall. We have a public hearing for soil removal renewal that day, and then we can do our May 27th meeting, which is a Tuesday on the island.
I second.
Second. Okay.
All in favor?
All right.
We have to
I don't think we need to vote.
just say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Nay? Nobody? Okay. We'll go to the bills payable. We have a motion to pay the bills? Motion.
I'll make a motion to pay bills payable in the amount of $17,430.06 on a meeting list invoice and bills payable for $428.25.
Second.
Roll call.
John DeBoyer.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Paul Cassidy.
Yes.
Jerry Golka.
Yes.
Tanya Hogan. Yes.
We'll move to the supervisor's report. I printed something up here so that I could try to remember most of it.
Speak loud.
There are a few matters that I think are worth making you aware of tonight. There's been a number of people who've asked about the previously proposed sewer program for the downtown area of Harson's Island. When first proposed during the term of the previous board, it was widely reported it would cost $2 million and that it would be completed last November. The number then went up to $4.6 million and then $6.6 million after that, which would have meant a hookup fee of about $471,000. In my opinion, such a cost was way too high, and any reasonable cost-benefit analysis would tell you that. I've met with the township engineer for the project and strongly suggested that I could never support that, and I suspected that I was not alone in that position, and I also made it known that he should stop work on it. Now, a short time later, and after a few more discussions, I've now been informed by the engineer and another engineer that a sewer system can indeed be installed at the original price, which is substantially more reasonable. One of the problems was that the program got to be, or the project got to be so large that these numbers were just inconceivable. But I'm left to wonder what changed, but I won't speculate on that. I'm happy to report that our diligence in questioning this suspended project has clearly paid off, and I cannot help but wonder how many past projects could have benefited from such a similar approach. Now, it is my recommendation, and I will recommend to the board, that the matter be put out for public bid, and it would be a design-build bid, and I think that if the engineers are correct, that it can be done for the $2 million. And I do have to give some credit to the Schweikarts, who have worked hard to try to help this project along and have been with my consent, and I told them from day one that they were free to try to assist in the construction project at any time, to any degree, and they've done that. They've talked to the engineers, and I think that they pretty much kept this issue, this project alive. Secondly, I've had the opportunity to review a report from our treasurer, in which, among other things, he addresses questions regarding the allocation of the ARPA funds. Our treasurer has met with an accounting firm and reviewed our ARPA funds activity, including the reallocation of the water fund to the general fund. I'm happy to report and to learn that this accounting firm, which is highly experienced in the allocation of ARPA funds, found nothing inappropriate or legally questionable in this board's reallocation of ARPA funds, monies from the water fund to the general fund, and accepted this as being within legally accepted activity. I also note that the accountants reported to us that placing ARPA funds in a restricted account, which was done by the prior board, contradicts their intended use. And if members of the public wish to maintain that this board has acted illegally, I can only tell you that you can come here and spend your 3 minutes talking to us, but we've counseled with very experienced and knowledgeable people. If you think we've done something improper, I suggest you report it to the proper authorities. Finally, I've been advised that our insurance carrier has denied coverage for the water main break that occurred this past winter. In fact, we've been told by the insurance agent that the water main has never been covered by insurance. Needless to say, I was shocked to learn of this development, and we shall review our legal opinions in this regard. I have some interest in talking with Ira Township and Algonac about this, and I'm hopeful that perhaps a collaborative effort by all of us could help cover the cost of that, at least to some degree. Now, I'm aware that ensuring this part of the infrastructure may be expensive, and from what I've looked at it will be, but the availability of insurance must be addressed not only by this township, but the others that are part of our water system. I think we should take some time to see if we can in some fashion get coverage, but we've got to address future coverage of that water line. And I have nothing further to report. We can go to Treasurer's report.
Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to let you know I have the official certification here for the ARPA funds. After April 30th, they will be reviewing it, and we've got that all done. Again, like Paul was saying, we had some accounting firm go over some of our stuff here, and I want to go through some of it. One of the things that they came up about was legally questionable transfer of playscape property. Per MTA legal counsel, the prior board giving the playscape equipment to Brownsfield may have been illegal. MTA legal counsel explained that the township assets with remaining value cannot be given away. As established by court precedent, despite the playscape no longer being needed by the township, its residual value required lawful disposal, i.e. sale or public auction. Related ARPA funds issue on this. $22,000 moving expense and $2,000 for repairs of ARPA funds were unobligated to avoid compounding this violation. Using taxpayer funds to support the transferred property would have been unlawful. Prior board's restrictions, as Paul said, according to MTA, the outgoing board acted outside of its authority by restricting funding decisions for the newly elected board. Such actions violate township governance principles. ARPA funds misallocation. Restricted fund transfer. Moving ARPA funds to a restricted account contradicts their intended use. These funds should be directly benefit all residents, such as using it for community-wide projects. Another thing they mentioned to us, the recreation asset warning, just for everybody to know. Using ARPA funds for recreation, like playscapes, creates future potential liabilities, maintenance, repairs, burdening subsequent budgets. Legal reallocation to water fund to general fund. According to our accountants who are experienced with ARPA issues, the transfer of $150,000 from the water fund to the general fund for alternative public transportation is an acceptable practice under ARPA. Our financial 9-month review, beginning fund balance, $23,783,000, and our ending balance, $24,468,180, giving us a net revenue of $685,032. We have one final state payment. I got word it's going to be coming in the next couple days. That should cover us through the remaining 6 months, and we're looking for a net revenue on that.
3 months.
Our bank balances as of report date, the general fund, we have $7,448,000. Our sewer fund, $950,000. Our water fund, $2,187,000. ARPA fund, $317,000. Our LG wheel, $623,000. Then we have fire, $50,000, tax, $24,000, and police, $4,750. Our department heads are preparing the needs assessment. The board will hold public workshops to develop a balanced budget, prioritizing all departments' requirements while maintaining fiscal responsibility. And that's all I have.
All right, now it's time for public comments.
Good evening. My name is Robert Lorenz, Bob Lorenz. My wife and I, Deanna, own Pickleball 365, the new indoor pickleball facility at the corner of 26th and County Line. We've been working with Cindy for the past 6 months on getting these new paddle racks that we're going to be donating here to Clay Township pickleball courts as well to IRA next week. Just wanted to introduce ourselves, say thank you for the support that we've received from the local communities. It's been fantastic. We opened April 5th. We're just about closing out our first month and looking at doing some real exciting programming and working with all the individual communities throughout the summer as well as a youth program and kids. So keep us in mind if you know anyone that has kids that needs a place for them for a couple hours during the day in the summer. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank
Mark Coletti, I'm talking about Agenda Item 1E, appointment of a new trustee. Regardless of the selection process the trustee board uses to replace Mr. Campbell, one thing is certain. We definitely do not need another trustee who is in favor of using public funding to subsidize a second ferry. I will support my statement with simple math and remembering only 20%, 1/5, of all Harson's Island residents voted in favor of the height of millage in February 2024 election. On the current trustee board, there are 3 full-time island residents who all voted in favor of the same feasibility study that was rejected 1 year prior at the special meeting on March 6, 2025. So here's the math. You have 3 island residents on the board who voted in the minority, 1/5. The odds of not a single island trustee voting with the 80% majority is a 1 out of 125 time event. So it's 1/5 to the 3rd power because there's 3 of them. Now on the Current Planning Commission, there are 5 full-time island residents. Although nobody can say for certain how these 5 islanders voted regarding the 2024 height of millage, we know there are no secrets on the island. The odds of not one of the 5 island residents on the Planning Commission being aligned with the majority 80% of Harson's Island voters is a 1 out of 3,125 time occurrence. So it's 1/5 to the 5th power because there's 5 of them. So let's add it up. We have a total of 8 Harson's Island residents on the trustee board and the Planning Commission who all very likely support the 20% minority regarding the approval of February 2024 height of millage. The probability that this is a random occurrence is 1 out of 390,625 events. 1/5 to the 8th power because there's 8 of them. Now, if the trustee board selects another resident to replace Mr. Campbell that is in favor of the 20% minority, then the odds of that being a random occurrence goes to, here we go, 1 out of 1,953,125 events. That's 1/5 to the 9th power, because there's 9 of them at that point. So in conclusion, this Board of Trustees should make every effort possible to ensure that the political makeup of the board reflects the majority of voters. Since we are supposed to have a government of the people, for the people, and by the people, as Abraham Lincoln stated in the Gettysburg Address, this board should prioritize selecting a new trustee who actually represents not only the majority of Harson's Island residents, but all Clay Township residents who do not want to use federal funds and taxpayer money to subsidize a second ferry. I request this document be received by the clerk so the entire comment is entered into the public hearing record. And since I got 30 seconds left, Mr. Campbell also voted in the minority. So on this board, not a single person on this board represented the 80% of island residents who voted in the 2024 election. That's just something to think about. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Pam, and I want to I'm talking in regards to 1C. I wanted to point out that the list of tasks you are proposing to outsource to the Lansing-based accounting firm are not extraordinary or specialized duties. They are basic, fundamental responsibilities of a township treasurer. Bank reconciliations, reviewing the general ledger, preparing for audits, helping create the budget and capital improvement plan, and even ARPA compliance. These are standard expectations for anyone serving as treasurer. In fact, our previous treasurer handled all of these tasks without the need to hire an outside firm, which would have been an extra cost to the taxpayers. Outsourcing basic responsibilities is not only an unnecessary expense, it is wasteful and undermines the very purpose of having elected officials. Taxpayers should not be forced to pay extra to cover for an official who isn't willing or perhaps capable of fulfilling the role they were elected to do. We owe it to our residents to ask, why can't our current officials fulfill these essential duties themselves? Is this added expense a responsible use of township funds? Why are we outsourcing the core responsibilities of our elected officials? I respectfully ask that this board vote no to outsourcing their own responsibilities. Thank you.
All right. Here, I'll just take the shortcut. Hello, Artie Bryson, A356 South Channel Drive. I wanted to say, get the camera ready, Eileen, hurry up. You'll miss something. I want to express, it was a pleasure that I'm glad Cindy Babish, she's announced her retirement, and so is Sherry Lawton the last meeting, and they were great employees, and the employees here, the staff and everyone, you got a great team here. You should take care of them. Did anyone get an email? I sent the whole board an email with comments and concerns about this agenda. I didn't get one reply, so here I am in person. The contract you're going to consider is for accounting services and budgeting and financial planning. I don't know, there's a scope of 13 things, I think it was. A lot of that is covered by your statutory duties. Now, I know you can delegate and outsource and everything, but this contract is pretty expensive. $195 for associate an hour. That's not even a CPA. Up to $400 for a partner. Man, that's expensive. I know there's a lot of other counties that would do it less. Did you ever go out for an RFP on this? That's a question I have. I think that should be warranted. And it's not hard to write a scope and put it out for bids. I'm sure you'd find a lot of people less money. And as far as the budget, I'll tell you what, I'll offer my services. I'll bang your budget out for $65 an hour. Be a hell of a lot cheaper than $195. On the question for the zoning, the question is that the Planning Commission gets a lot of information. They have public hearings where a lot of people can get up and talk and everything. And you guys don't have that luxury of all the information. I would recommend this board would hold a public hearing on that so you can hear everybody's opinion and not just 3 minutes from every resident there. I don't know, I'm really disappointed in this contract you're considering. I'll tell you what, I'll read it. It's right from Jerry Gelka's campaign promises. Oh, let's see. Why choose Jerry Gelka? Financial expertise, can trust 45 years experience, financial measurements, proven track record of success of budgeting, auditing, and financial planning. Okay, so is that my time? Okay, I guess I'll talk later on what wasn't on the agenda. Thank you.
Peter Tambo, 9195 Maynard. I'd like to address the rezoning of 5660 Point Trumbull. First question is, why are we even here again over this? It's been shot down twice. Okay, this is going for the third round. The zoning board passed it last year on to you people. They passed it again to you people, knowing that it got turned down last year. Why? The zoning board should have never even put it to you people again. Everything that he's proposing, it doesn't fit. The bottom line is it doesn't go against, it goes against the master plan. Okay? You can't approve it. And if you try spot zoning, that's illegal. And spot zoning, even if you could do it, you still have to follow the master plan. There's tons of vacant C1 property that can be developed. And do we really need it? Look how many empty buildings there are on M29 right now. What we need is housing in there. Senior housing possibly would be better than another commercial piece of property. And you can't build on that whole piece of property anyways, because the majority of it's wetlands. That got turned down probably 25 years ago. I don't know what else to say. I mean, we're wasting our time being here again. It shouldn't even be presented to you guys. It should have stopped at the zoning board. And if it continues to go, I think we should have a public hearing on it and let the rest of the people really talk about it. And then on his rezoning of the non-commercial property, the R1 to RS1, what is his plans for that? Because there's a whole bunch of criteria on special land use that he can use in there. You know, and if you guys let him use special land use clause, he can put who knows what in there. But we have no idea what he's going to do there. He said farming at the Planning Commission. I mean, you know, that's a broad subject. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leonard Kalustian. I live at 5667 Point Trumbull Road. My residence is directly across from the rezoning of the parcel that we're talking about today. Yes, according to the other neighbor, this has been brought up before. And I'm surprised that the planning board pushed this through again. It's like they don't even want to, do what they're supposed to. And I don't want to accuse them of not doing their job, but come on, this is, you do have a master plan, and it's clearly spelled out, right? It's even nicely color-coded, right? What's supposed to be for future land use. It's pretty simple to follow. The future land use, it shows exactly. This property says residential for future land use. You know, me, and I wish I had more time, I'm sorry, I just returned to town, but I had a list of I walked around that entire property, and I got every single signature from every single neighbor the last time. Every single one. Not one person didn't sign, right? This parcel only borders commercial on one side. Every other end of this parcel is completely surrounded by residential property. Every single side, except for Ackett's Burger right next door. right? So what you're asking to do is, and I'm not accusing you of it, but it is a spot zone. When you say, what is a spot zone is saying you're taking something that's surrounded by another area, and then you'll say, well, wait a minute, there's commercial there, but if you continue on that path and say, well, I should be able to make my property, commercial, because I have a resident, and I have commercial across the street from me, So it's just not we bought our homes, we based, our purchases on this master plan. Some of us, we saw it and we said, I feel safe investing in this property because I don't think anything adverse is going to be there, right? And when we were at the one meeting, and this was a comment that struck me, and I asked him, I go, why can't you just make a decision and just deny them? Well, he goes, well, we risk being sued if we do that. Well, you risk being sued if you do it the other way, too. The only way to not risk being sued is follow the plan. If you follow the plan, you could say, listen, that's our plan, we're sorry, and I'm sorry for the person that owns this parcel. I am. I know, whatever your intention is, when you bought the property, and I don't want to speculate why you bought it, but when you bought it, due diligence should have been done, and you can't go down the road and go, oh, now I want to do something different, because it only benefits you, and at the detriment of everybody else. It's only benefiting one person. That's all I got to say about this, because this is this is important to me, and I hired a lawyer last time. I didn't want to do it this time because I didn't think it was going to go this far again, but it did, and here we are. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Board. My name is Mario Palzola. I'm the owner of that property that was just being discussed. I wasn't going to say anything in this meeting, but you are going to be litigated if this doesn't go through. There's already attorneys involved. That property was bought. It's not able to be used to build residential houses on it because of the wetlands. The wetlands are on the 44 acres is about 90% of the property. The only part that's not wetlands is what we detailed in the rezoning of the commercial piece. We don't have anybody that's interested in using that right now. We're going to put it up for sale. So that's basically, if anybody had a question, I can answer it. But we've owned that property for 15, 16 years. We approached the Planning Commission before. There was no indication of a problem. We understand because the last time this was brought up, it was during a campaign issue, and because you have people in this audience are not interested in doing it, but the liability to the township is pretty bad. So it's your decision. Thank you.
Hi, Lisa Fiorani, 9231 Maynard Court. I live behind the parcel that this gentleman just spoke about. I'm sorry that you can't have that you didn't do the due diligence, but that sounds like a threat that I just heard to residents in our community to sue us. If it doesn't follow the master plan, it doesn't follow the master plan. We have 2 streets there. Pulling off my street is obstructed because of the bridge and the walkway. I can't see Ackett's sign. If we put another commercial property there, there's going to be more traffic coming out of there. You're going to get sued by somebody who's going to get hit because of impeded traffic. I don't understand why this is coming up again. This came up last time. We had tons of people here. My neighbor did go around. Every person on our 2 streets, Maynard and Pearl Beach, signed this. There were so many things, but I just came back from Florida yesterday, so I'm not prepared. There were so many issues brought up, but I'd ask you to please, there are commercial properties going towards town. There's plenty of land available. If he can sell it, build some residential houses there. Maybe somebody will buy it and build residential up at the street. But it's not our problem that he can't develop the property he bought 15 or 20 years ago and come up here and threaten us with a lawsuit if we don't do what he wants. Thank you.
Ryan Wardeman, 9615 Maynard. Lived there for 45 years. I've seen so many accidents on M29 between Muskrat Run and Sassy Marina. All we hear all weekend, all summer long are sirens. It's nothing to take 10 minutes to turn off of Maynard Road on a weekend in the summertime. The traffic is so bad. Now, they want to allocate and build this. There's no turn lane. The state won't allow a turn lane or a deceleration lane. And M29 cannot handle this traffic at all. In no way. And I'm sorry to this gentleman, but he wanted to grow a garden and give food away. He's owned it for 15 years. He hasn't yet. You don't need to change the rezoning to plant a garden and give food away. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Okay? And now we are on a 10 to 30 year floodplain. And as you encroach in on the floodplain, water comes up. If you can go and spread that floodplain out, the water goes. We are 4 feet lower than Lake Huron. And when the water gets high, it's like squeezing the hose on a spigot. It comes up and it goes everywhere. You have to have that floodplain remain on those wetlands, or you would develop it, and when you build in, all of us go sunk underwater. I don't understand any of this. There's no need for any of it. You want to build new businesses, look at all the empty businesses we have, all the empty stores that we have around. It's just the wrong place, and I don't see how we're here again. Again, this should have been denied by the Planning Commission. Now to be threatened by litigation by it, it's very sad. Thank you very much.
If there's no further public comment, we'll go to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, including reports. A board-approved 4/14/25, in-between meetings 4/17 to 4/24/25, Cindy Babish retirement letter, the minutes, and Board of Trustee minutes for 4/14/25.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Shouldn't be. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Fire chief report?
Oh, sorry. That was at the beginning of the month. My bad.
You taking it off?
Yeah. That was not
Okay,
supposed
new
to be there.
business. Rezoning 1A, 5660 Point Trumbull Road from R1, One Family Residential District, to C2, Small Business District, and RS1, Rural Suburban Residential. It's parcel number 7414-060-0018-000. Is there a motion?
I am on the list. I should excuse myself, but I will for voting purposes. However, I do believe that a public hearing should be in place.
Anybody else? Well, personally, I'm very pro-business, but I've looked at this, and it's just not the right thing for our community. I don't believe that we should take an R1 and go to a C2. I don't think we should go to an RS1. I've looked at what they could do if they, in fact, were to rezone, and I really, looking at the criteria, I wouldn't want those uses to be used on that property. If there was a plan, I think that that would be something we could sit down and say, let's let the public weigh in on it. But I don't think we should do it in the first place, so I don't know that we need a public hearing. I think, you can come and threaten us to sue us anytime you want, but that falls on deaf ears as far as I'm concerned. Anybody else? Any other comments?
I'll make a motion to deny the rezoning of 5660 Point Trumbull from R1, one-family residential district to C2, small district, and RS1 rural suburban residential on parcel number 741406001800.
Second.
All right, do you want to do a roll call?
Yes, I can do a roll call. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Golka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes.
All right. We'll move on to 1B. Crumbs LLC proposal, concession stand proposal.
Yeah, I think he's here if he wants to.
I'm sorry?
I think he's here. if he-
Okay, maybe he could make a presentation. Would you
Want
like
to come up and make a
sir?
presentation, sir?
Hello, I'm Tony Bressfield. I live at 338 Greenwood. We are Crumbs. I would love to have the opportunity to run the concession stand this summer and into the future. We have some really nice ideas I think we could pull out of there, a little fancier stuff. I'm a classic trained chef, been doing it for 15 years. I'm serve-safed and all these other fancy acronyms. And yeah, we're just looking forward to the opportunity to work with you guys. We have some nice ideas that I have reached out to Jerry with for working with Park and Rec, doing maybe some senior stuff, so, cooking with kids in the park, beautiful scenery, using Facebook and Instagram and all that to get people to come to the park and eat some chef-inspired food. Then we'll still do the classic concession stand stuff, you got to have fun. But yeah, so.
So I see the hours of operation, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday and Sunday noon to 7. Would that be like between Memorial Day and Labor Day?
Yeah, we would be open full blast when the splash pad is open, and then kind of go with weather. We got nice days in the winter and stuff like that. Why not open it up? Bring some people out to the park when we do the special events. I worked the Easter one. That was really fun with the church and you guys, so I think there's an opportunity here to do some really good things.
Have you operated, I know that you're a chef, have you done anything similar anywhere else, or?
Not concession stand. Right now,
Okay.
I'm the executive chef at Wayne State University,
Okay,
so I know what it is to feed a ton of people, and I've been inside there, so I know what we can capable of pulling off in there, and I think you guys would be quite amazed at what can come out of there.
sounds good. Do we need a background check or anything, or?
Yeah, we'll need like a W-9 and some information from him. If we, depending on the vote.
Right.
Which I can get his contact information and contact him and get all the proper
Yeah, sure, we can get it all.
information from you.
Absolutely.
Do we need background as far as criminal or any of that?
CCH?
I don't know.
I don't know that we need
Do
a
we need that?
CCH. We could. I don't.
So you have all the health certificates?
Yep, I am serve-safe by the National Restaurant Association, nutrition certified, cost control certified, all these.
All been approved?
Yep.
Well, we'd love to have somebody run it. I'll make a motion to allow Crumbs LLC to operate our concession stand on the terms of his business proposal, providing he provides all the paperwork needed.
Support.
Any other discussion? Everybody in
Do you
favor?
have any insight?
Just one question, so we still would make sure that we get our health department license through?
Yes.
It's already,
It's already,
been
yep.
sent in.
Okay, very good.
You have some experience with this, so what's your opinion?
I wish you luck. It's a big challenge, but
Yeah.
it sounds like you're
Yeah, oh, we-
very experienced,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to shrimp scampi since you're the,
Well, that's going to be a process to get to that. There's no like flat tops and stuff in there, so the heat and that stuff, we've got to watch what we
Right.
play with.
Cookies, too.
Oh, there you go.
Probably
There's going to be some
name
desserts. I
crumbs.
do have ideas for some desserts we can run out of there too,
okay,
so.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Let's
And
take a
how do
vote.
you feel about when we have events, some of the trucks wanted to come in and also, is that a
I
problem?
mean, as long as they're not kind of going to take, like if it's a dessert, like an ice cream truck like we had for Easter, I'm not going to be really serving. I
Right.
would like to eventually get a little novelty ice cream fridge to sell novelty ice creams, but I have no, as long as they're not infringing
The
on what
food
we're
truck would
doing.
probably only be one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can always run it by them.
The plan would be almost to treat it like a food truck. The concession stand is what I would do with it. It wouldn't just be the, hot dogs. There would be some prepared meals, and I've got some specials. I'd like to work with the local farmers markets once they get up and running, source our produce from them, keeping it local and.
All right. You have to do roll call, or?
Okay, roll call then.
Okay, Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Jerry Galka,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Thank you,
Moving
guys.
on to
Appreciate it.
1C.
Thank you, I'm excited.
Good luck. Mayor Costerian, assist with bank reconciliation, budget line 101-265-80500. We have a motion?
I'll make a motion to hire Maynard Costerison to assist with bank reconciliation, budget not a prep from line item 101-265-805.
Second.
All right, discussion?
I have are we going to set, because these prices are, pretty high during, a pretty high dollar amount an hour, are we going to try and keep it under to where we're not paying an astronomical price?
Yes.
Should we set,
We're not going to sign a contract, close our eyes.
Right.
We could set a value not to exceed. We have the authority to do that.
okay.
Not to exceed $10,000.
And I've talked with them. They're there to assist us. We do the work. They're just going to assist us.
Do they make contracts where they can just do, make us a contract with a set budget for these specific things, instead of just giving us an hour amount?
It all
I
depends
just
how
want to
much-
make sure we're staying within a certain scope.
It all depends how much is needed. I mean, it was just like they did the ARPA thing, and they went back and found some mistakes that were done in the past. Basically, we're using this, so when the new fiscal year comes in, we know that everything has been done right in the back, and if it hasn't, from the past board,
Yeah.
even us being new, to make sure everything was done right, so going forward, everything will continue to be right. That's basically what they're doing, and if we have any hiccups along the way while we're doing the work, they'll assist us with that. So they try to do minimal possible, because they don't want to charge us an astronomical rate. I've already
Well,
talked to them about this.
It's my understanding that, this is probably going to only be, we probably won't need this again next year.
No.
We're coming in new, transition wasn't
We're
real
not
forth.
doing the work. We're
Right.
doing the work.
We're doing it.
And
I
if we
just
get
make sure
to a
we're not,
hiccup, we
getting
pick up
out
the
of
phone, they
hand with
Skype us,
costs.
they
Right.
look where
I
we have
agree.
the problem, and help us out with it.
The transition was
That
kind
was
of
like,
rough.
that was like with the ARPA, I wasn't able to get in the treasury site because the prior board didn't give me any information on how to get on there and gave me misinformation.
Well, we're
And-
kind of getting off topic
Right,
a little bit.
but I'm explaining.
I mean,
So
we
they
need help
helped
right
me
now
out.
because the
Right.
budget's
They-
coming up.
right.
We just
but
need
they-
to make sure that we're not going.
They had me on the phone a half hour, helped me out, and I was able to certify the ARPA. So they did it in a half hour.
Okay.
Okay.
I see various rates from the high from $395 to,
That would be if we need, that would be, Mark, that would be if we need a forensic audit for $185. If they go in there and they see something that the prior board did before that is out of line and they got to do a forensic audit, that's what it's going to cost. But basically, we're going to be at the minimum because of the fact that we're doing the work. They're just advising us. And it's not that they're coming in every day. We'll do it through Skype only when we have a hiccup, they're not doing the work, all our work.
So for the acceptance of this contract, it's not a contract, I hope it's a letter of understanding. Is that what it is?
Well, no.
It's not a contract.
It can be a contract.
It's a contract.
Well, you just said there's going to be another contract.
For
So,
not to exceed $10,000, and then obviously it's up to us to make sure that we only use them when we need them.
Well, I know that Jerry's working for, almost $40,000 less, so I can amend my motion to say that we wouldn't spend not to exceed $15,000.
I think you can't go over 10,000.
All right, not to exceed 10,000, whatever you guys think.
So did we
That's-
already hire this company?
No,
Well, because you said they did the ARPA. for
not for what's on here. For ARPA, Paul, we have what we can use without a
Just a minor amount of money. It
Right.
wasn't a lot.
half hour,
Okay.
maybe $100.
You used them for advisement, right?
Yeah, just use them for advisement.
So they're going to do bank reconciliation?
We're not doing bank reconciliation, John.
Okay, hold on, let me finish, and then you can answer.
Hold on.
Bank reconciliation, general ledger, state compliance reports, ARPA compliance. They're going to assist you with that
Yes, if we need it.
if you need it. So my question would be, are those items that I just mentioned being done currently?
Yes, they are.
Have you had any problem with that?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Okay. I was not aware of that.
Well, John, why don't you make an appointment and come in and talk to me? Spend an hour with me.
Make an appointment?
Yeah, at my office, and spend an hour with me.
Okay. I didn't realize there was an issue. So
Well,
is this anything that UHI can help us with?
no.
No?
You know,
Because they're
John,
auditors.
I want to cut in here. UHY hasn't been real helpful.
They haven't.
No, they haven't. I actually think that we should put out for public bid for a new accounting firm. They never get back to you. They're very difficult to deal with. Jerry waited 3 weeks, finally called him again, and he said, I was just going to call you. Well, it's 3 weeks later.
Talk loud.
So from my understanding, I talked to Tammy, there's certain things that, because they are our auditors, they can't necessarily assist us with because it's a conflict.
I understand that, yes.
So from my understanding, this company will kind of like walk through steps if we run into an issue and we need assistance. They're like going to be like a resource for us to use if we need assistance. Especially with the budget coming up and working with everybody, there can be potential hiccups there sometimes being new. I would, just to have them as a resource for the budget would be, something I think we could use as an asset. But UHY can't do certain things with us because they are our auditors.
And how did we find this company?
We actually when I went to conference, Jerry was at conference too, we both took this finance class, and they put on the finance class and went over a ton of stuff, and they were really good, and then Jerry stayed in contact with them.
Right. We were really impressed with them.
They actually used our township, like, in the class as an example, right? So they showed us some things that we had issues with.
repeat the motion?
The motion is to accept the contract with Maynard Costerison to assist with bank reconciliation, budget, and audit prep, not to exceed $10,000 from line 101-265-805.
Not to exceed $10,000 annually?
Is that for the rest of the
For
budget
just
year?
this budget.
For the budget,
Through June 30th?
If we need
Okay.
them, yeah.
For the budget year. Okay.
through June 30th.
Can you amend that to the budget? Not to exceed 10,000 within this budget?
That's right.
I said until June 30th, which is the budget.
Okay.
June
Good
30th,
deal.
2025.
1 second.
Jerry seconded it, I
Oh,
think.
Jerry did? Okay, I'm sorry. All right, roll call?
Jerry Golka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. John DeBoyer?
No.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Oh, Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Sorry, you were on the bottom of my list.
All right, 1D, KCI tax billing postage, $2,764, line item 101-253-730.00. This is for tax postage.
I'll make a motion to approve 1D, the KCI tax billing postage, in the amount of $2,764.
Support.
All right, we need discussion?
Well, I think we can pay up to 3,000 without board approval, but I'm looking at the proposal, and it says $3,969. We're prepaying, we're getting a deal because we're prepaying, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Isn't it, we're paying the postage first,
Yes, we prepay the postage
Postage.
up front.
and then their fees are after.
I was just confused, like, are we going to have to pay that other $1,200 later?
Yes.
So is that why it's coming to the board, because it's going to end up being over 3,000?
Yes.
I believe that's our limit, right, Tanya, 3,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other roll call?
I don't know if you have a motion. We have-
Oh, I thought we had one.
I made a motion, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark seconded. Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Paul Cassidy,
Yes.
Jerry Golka.
Yes.
Line item 1E, discuss how to move forward with the appointment of a new trustee.
And then I'll make a motion to accept Brian Campbell's resignation as our trustee.
Support.
We'll do a roll call.
Maureen Bory,
No.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Paul Cassidy,
No.
Jerry Golka,
No.
Tanya Hogan, yes. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
All right. Motion fails. We'll go to the next one. 1F, Michigan Municipal League Workers Compensation, $45,690, divided between departments. I guess we didn't really discuss what to do, but I don't know that we need to at this point. Michigan
Well, I do
Municipal-
have a question, though.
Okay.
So Brian wants to resign, and he signed a letter, and he's not going to show up to meetings. So why are we not accepting his resignation when he clearly doesn't want, he hasn't been to the last 4 meetings? So I just am confused on why we're going against someone's wishes.
Well,
Someone could explain to me why it was not approved to accept his resignation. I certainly would like to hear it.
I think the rest of us would too.
I think,
And how long do we go on as a 6-member board then?
well, I don't think we go on long.
No?
Well, if we don't accept a resignation, is he coming back?
I don't know.
Why do you think we don't go on long, Mr. Supervisor?
Well, we're not going to go on 6 months or anything like that,
45 days and go for a reelection.
Yeah, so we'll do that if we have to, but I think that,
We have to accept his resignation in order to start the process.
yeah. We will. Well, we'll bring it up again. The next meeting. The Michigan Municipal League Workers' Compensation, $45,690, divided between departments. We have a motion on that?
I'm going to make a motion to approve the Michigan Municipal League for Workmen's Comp bill in the amount of $45,690. The line items will be divided up between different departments. This bill was based on an audit they did. It is a pass bill, or the audit was done from 7/1/2023 to 6/30/24.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Okay. Jerry Golka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes. Go to 1G, U.S. Bank pension bonds, $296,830 divided between department pension bonds. Is there a motion?
Make a motion for 1G U.S. Bank pension bonds of $296,830 divided between department pension bonds.
Support?
Any need for discussion? Take a
This
roll
is-
call.
This is a big bill.
It is.
It's an annual bill
I
that we
know.
pay every year for the pension bonds.
Well, I know it went on for 10 years, and then finally in 2022, we put, the taxpayers were
They're saving money.
given this, was taking out of the budget, but we weren't going to be able to make it, so we had to
Right.
borrow this money.
So
But
we
it
have
did
to-
put us into pretty big debt, and, this huge amount of interest every year.
Well, in 2022, there was a federal law that came down, the Gatsby law, that required that we fund our liability for these pension costs, and that's why that action was taken when it was taken. And this actually shored things up and saved us money based on setting these general obligation bonds up.
Well, when you have to pay interest, you don't really save money, because we weren't paying interest before, but we
Well,
wouldn't have been able to do
It was either
it.
we had to pay cash, which we did not have, or we did this, or we broke the federal law, so.
Yeah.
2.5 million in interest, so it's actually a $6.5 million bond.
Do a roll call.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Golka?
Yes.
1H, annual equipment testing.
That is the chief, fire chief?
Good evening. This is an annual testing that we do every year. We use FireCat. They come in and they test all our hose for both stations and all the ladders that we have, that we carry on our trucks to make sure that they're safe, so the firefighters, when they use them during firefighting, that there's no failure.
And it's required, so. All right, I make a motion that we go forward with the annual equipment testing, and the amount of $6,654.80 from line item 206-000971.
I second.
Roll call.
John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Paul Cassidy?
Yes.
Jerry Golka?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Keep up the good work.
We have public comment?
Oh, hold on, we amended the agenda.
That's right, we did add one aye.
Did you just?
All right, I'll make a motion that we amend or alter our schedule for our May meetings. The original schedule that we approved said that, is it May 12th?
Yes, May 12th would be on the
On the
island.
island, and May 27th
Yep,
would be here, but we're going to swap that. So May 12th will be here, and May 27th will be on the island.
yes. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Public comments?
Go ahead.
Eileen Tesh. There is a citizens initiative circulating throughout the state of Michigan. It's called Axe My Tax. I am the county captain. It is to eliminate all property taxes in the state of Michigan, and this movement is currently spreading across the nation. A number of states have already passed it. One of the big objections that I have heard, I am the county captain, one of the big objections is how are we going to fund essential services, police and fire, and it is in the language of the initiative that will go, and it's 3 or 4 pages long, which was approved by the State Board of Canvassers. 10,000 people in the state of Michigan lose their homes, their businesses, and their farms every year because they cannot pay their taxes. Now, May 6th, I believe, there's another school millage coming up that's on the ballot for non-homestead property, and people that say, well, it won't affect our residents, it only affects businesses. Well, as you had mentioned, we definitely need businesses here in our area. My point is that this election, this millage that's coming up, May 6th, not one dime of it goes to education. And when I approach and discuss this with the school board, unfortunately, their response is, we know we could do better, because they're ranging right now between 30 and 40%. There are many representatives, state reps, as well as senators that are supporting this citizens initiative. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'll give you copies. And if anybody would like to get in touch or learn more, it's axmytax.com, axmitax.com. Thank you.
Hello, Artie Bryson, 8356 South Channel. For the bonding, for the pension, we sold a bond for about 3% interest. We take that money, we give it to MERS, who invests it for us, and they make between 6.5% to 9% interest every year. This bond saves a whole bunch of money, Township, for our liability, what we used to pay. Like a lot of money. I got a question, now that Brian Campbell resigned, but you didn't accept it, do we still pay Brian Campbell? I think you have to. Sorry to say. 2 meetings ago, Maureen, we were talking about the OHM contract, and you made claims that it went out for bid, RFP, you sent it to like 10 firms. I did a FOIA for the RFP and the communication to these 10 firms. Came back non-existent. So you misled us.
You have it, Tanya. I gave it to you.
I do not have the list of the 10 firms I went to.
I gave you the letter
I
of
know she
certification.
did it.
I did the certification.
I saw it.
Well, okay, well,
I will double check.
okay. I was just going to say,
I have it.
so, let's see. I mean, that was kind of a big problem to me, but if it's there, I'd like to see it.
It was on the agenda, the 10 firms were on
Right.
it.
I asked for communications of the RFP to those 10 firms.
So it was mailed and emailed.
Well, I didn't get it.
I don't have the mail, I don't have the emails.
I asked for that. So, let's see. Jerry, on Facebook, not email or anywhere else, you posted, let's have a meeting, Artie. So I came in last Thursday, and I said, okay, tell me what you want to discuss, and I'll meet with you. And at first I suggested 8:30 in the morning, it was today, and you said, no, let's make it 9. Well, I was here at 9 o'clock, and I wanted to have Paul sit in on the meeting too, because you were asking me questions. I came in here at 9 o'clock, and neither one of you were here. So you don't answer my emails, you don't show up at meetings, you don't return messages. How do we get anything answered? And I'm sorry, you took up half of my three
I did.
minutes.
Go ahead.
So that was a question I had.
A minute.
I did send the whole board email with grant opportunities that are going on. Didn't get a reply on that either. You're like a black hole email and everything else stuff. But I was really upset about you know, who is the Clay Township Facebook administrator? Because they, and plus Jerry on social media, they are saying not so nice things about our residents, and me included. I was referred to several times on the Clay Township official webpage by Clay Township user of being a sad little man. I'm not sad. I'm not little. Okay? It doesn't bother me at all. It makes you guys look bad. It makes the community. I'm embarrassed for you guys, the community as a whole, when you do that. And, you know, if you're running late, you should have emailed me or called me. Hey, Artie, I'm sorry, missed the meeting. Let's reschedule. And why would you ask me for a meeting on Facebook in front of the public? You guys are the ones that are showboating, and you guys are the one grandstanding. So, I don't know, you know, it's very frustrating. A couple of meetings ago, I emailed the whole board. What do we do with, if we have to complain about our roads and stuff? I know Tanya mentioned to call Paul Cassidy, but, you know, nobody has his phone number. You can leave a message. It won't get returned. It hasn't yet. So you have a very poor communication with this community. And I'm saying this not to, for your benefit. You need to correct it. I did mention to Jerry Thursday that who do we call when there's a problem with garbage on Friday? And I explained to him that I don't think you should just have them call the dispatch center, because they're busy and it takes a little bit of time to research these things and to put it out. And Friday, I see on social media, oh, if you got a problem picking up your garbage, call the dispatch center. Did you tell the police that you were going to do this? I don't think they have the resources and the wherewithal to deal with that. I have a lot more questions, but my time's gone up twice. Have a good day. Thank you.
Hi, Sarah Clements. To kind of piggyback off what Artie had said there, Mr. Galka did something very similar to me that I talked about at the last meeting, but for the Easter event, where he had randomly called me out to be a volunteer. And when I reached out to him to oblige that I would have loved to volunteer, he said, oh, I'll have someone contact you, and they never did. That seems to be the thing. The Clay Township Facebook page and Jerry Galka Clay Township Treasurer page are both listed as government entities. So they are running as official Clay Township. I don't think that legally the Clay Township Facebook page should be posting stuff and opinions as a personal opinion without, there's a whole board. There's a board of supposed to be 7, now it's 6, and apparently it's going to stay that way for some time. I'll get to that. But it really should be everybody's opinion. It's Clay Township. It's not Jerry Galka. It's not whoever Jerry has running that page for him. I've heard multiple names thrown out there. But that's an official township page. It looks awful to be name calling. In regards to the non-homestead millage that Eileen talked about, it will directly impact our children if you vote no. The non-homestead millage allows for us to have enough teachers in the school, for us to have athletics, for us to have extracurricular activities. Great if you don't want property taxes and that's what you're doing on a statewide, but I don't want my children's education negatively impacted, so please vote yes to that. In regards to OHM, I know there was a lot of discussion at the last board meeting about the OHM contract, and Mr. Cassidy and Mr. Gulka did not, and Maureen did not want to talk about that at the meeting and said, John, come meet with us, and then we'll talk about it at the next board meeting. Wasn't on the agenda, we never talked about it. I promise you that everyone in this room wants to know about that fraudulent contract that was signed. You can laugh all you want, again, that's rude. You are the leader of this community, you don't need to be laughing at the township people. And the last thing I have to say, this township is not your guys' playground. I don't know what collusion the three of you have going on, but that was very obvious that that was discussed and talked about prior to this. Seems to be, there was the board of 4, now there's the board of 3, and it's gonna stay that way. Why post something for people to apply? Why ask the township for their opinions? Why even let people come up here and speak? Because you don't care. You don't care what the community has to say, and if you do, it's your handful of people that you're listening to, not the whole township.
My name is Pam, and as a resident of Clay Township, I'm here tonight because corruption has taken root in Clay Township, and if we don't act, we will all pay a heavy price. Supervisor Paul Cassidy, an attorney, former judge, and former prosecutor for Wayne and Macomb counties, knows the law. Yet he illegally signed a contract with OHM behind closed doors on December 30th, 2024. This was a knowing, willful, and deliberate violation of the law by someone who swore an oath to uphold it. His action violated the Michigan Open Meetings Act, and under the law, this makes a contract invalid. For months, this board ignored my request to address this. Instead, I was told to stop making false accusations, that protocols were followed, and that no one was lying or withholding information. We know now they were lying, not only to the public, but also to other board members. Instead of telling the truth, Mr. Cassidy and other board members staged a fraudulent vote on March 6, 2025, knowing full well that the contract had already been signed and knowing that the ARPA funding deadline had already passed. That was a deliberate deception against us, the citizens of our community. But why should our community care? Because the OHM contract is invalid. ARPA funds legally cannot be used for this project. Yet the board refuses to cancel the contract, which means the taxpayers may be forced to pay out of our township budget for a bill that legally cannot be paid with ARPA funds. The consequences are serious. Clay Township's credibility is damaged. Future grants and funding could be harder or impossible to obtain. Our taxes may go up to cover the board's misconduct. And make no mistake, if we do nothing, we are teaching every future official that they can lie, cheat, and break the law without facing consequences. And that always leads to bigger abuses over time. I'm asking residents of St. Clair County to not let this corruption be swept under the rug. Please continue to contact the St. Clair County Prosecutor's Office and demand a full investigation and accountability for all officials involved in this fraud. Even if you aren't a resident of Clay Township, we ask for your support. Remember, if this could happen in my hometown, it can happen in yours too. Now, you talked about the OHM, you talked about the for the funds. There were no funds obligated for OHM. It was never even discussed. No, there was never a vote on OHM. That's absolutely was not obligated. December 31st came and went. Your fake vote on March, it was already over and done. Twice you voted on something illegal. You did that behind closed doors. So talk to your treasurer about that. Is that legal?
Mark Coletti. HIDA's mission was established as a result of a survey which was signed by 400 island residents to pursue alternative modes of transportation to Harson's Island. HIDA initiated a millage proposal to fund a feasibility study for a second ferry, but once the millage details were publicly presented, 80% of full-time island residents rejected this millage in the February 2024 election. Voting represents the true will of the voters. Voting results supersede signatures on an obscure survey. I'll repeat that again for Supervisor Cassidy. Voting results supersede signatures on an obscure survey. Now, ever since the millage was rejected, the HIDA chair has allowed only one regularly scheduled meeting in 14 months. The kids call that ghosting us. It's a violation of HIDA bylaw 2.11. At that singular meeting on December 19, 2024, the HIDA chair allowed the removal of open public comments, which is a violation of Section 9 of bylaw 3.01. Now it seems, using basic pattern recognition and taking into the other comments that you're hearing, considering all the events that have transpired, 80% of island residents are in the midst of a 14-month-long string of non-organic misfortune. I stand before you today for no other reason than to speak up for the downtrodden majority of island voters. I publicly request the HIDA chair resign. I publicly request that regularly scheduled HIDA meetings resume starting Saturday, May 10th, following HISCA meeting schedule and location. HISCA, very important, they oversee HIDA. Now, the HIDA homepage itself says, support HIDA, attend meetings. It's nearly impossible to accomplish this when there is only one regularly scheduled meeting in 14 months. Now, I do not understand why this request for the HIDA chair to resign angers people. It is a volunteer position. He does not earn income doing it. While his actions are not illegal, his recent decisions to oppose the will of 80% of islanders are probably unethical and definitely inconsistent with our representative form of government. In conclusion, I implore all dejected Harson's Island and Clay Township residents who share this view to speak at public comments, specifically HIDA meetings, if there's ever going to be one again, HISCA meetings, because again, they oversee HIDA, and trustee board meetings because you get good attendance. In addition, island residents should send emails to HIDA and HISCA to ask why these bylaw violations are being tolerated. I'll give that information at the end. Lastly, island residents can call or text HIDA at 586-330-0885 and ask why these bylaw violations are being tolerated. Now remember this timeless fact. The truth fears no investigation, but lies and hypocrisy do. I request this document be received by the clerk so the entire comment is entered into the public record. And the information for HIDA, their website is harsonsida.org. They have a contact. Their email is harsonsida@gmail.com. HISCA, same thing, hiscfa.org. Go to the contacts. You'll see president@hiscfa.org, vp@hiscfa.org, and ea@hiscfa.org. And again, that phone number for HIDA directly, 586-330-0885, and ask why the bylaw violations are being tolerated. Thank you.
Judy Campbell, 6052 St. Pierre. On a different note, I would like to thank the board for the annual appropriations that you voted on at the last meeting. It included money for our library. I am one of 3 Clay Advisory Board members to our library. There are also 3 from Algonac, and they will pass the same or have passed the same appropriation. We are one of 11 libraries in the St. Clair County system, and I would encourage all of you to take time to look at what our library offers. Not only if your smartphone is smarter than you when you get it, you can get help from the library. They have classes in technology. We have a grief support group. We have a caregiver support group. We have a notary public. We have access to the internet, and all kinds of programs for children and adults and speakers. And because the millage was passed back a couple years ago, we are in a good position to offer this community tremendous resources through our library. Be proud.
Can I make one quick comment?
Come on up, Mr. Bryson.
Hello, Arnie Bryson again, 8356 South Channel. Mr. Gelka said something about this new firm, said you can't really spend ARPA money on playscapes. And the ARPA money that we spent on our playscape was specifically for Parks and Recreation through a Spark grant from the DNR, which there was about 600 applicants for it, and we were one of 23 people who won that. And so that's kind of incorrect. And our ARPA money was received as revenue replacement. And it was determined that our water department lost $150,000 in revenue because of COVID. And that's why it was put into that. It was revenue replacement. There's all kinds of different types of ARPA money, but it was revenue replacement. Thank you.
There being no further public comments, we'll move to...
One more.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
How you guys doing? My name is Jennifer Brisson Schaefer. I live at 9343 River Road. I am a certified public accountant, and I will tell you that I think that voting on that contract with very little research was very fiscally irresponsible. Those rates are astronomical. I will say that bank reconciliations are the most basic level of accounting that you can get, and I don't see why you would need assistance with it because you're very experienced, right? But I will say that it's probably a $75 an hour job. So for all of you to vote yes on it without, I mean, there's no other quote for it. I work at a local, pretty reputable firm, and the partner level is $200 an hour. Now, you guys are in a specialized service, so I would expect it to be a little bit more, but double is outrageous. Thank you.
Are there any other further public comment? There being none, we'll move to board member comments. I always start with Mr. DeBoyer, you're farthest away from me.
I appreciate that. So first off, a couple things. First off, I'd like to say thank you to Cindy Babish for all her years of service. She did a great job. Good luck in retirement. It's not a bad thing. So, second thing is, I assume based on the comments at our last meeting that our discussion of the OHM Clay contract was going to be put on this agenda to discuss.
Well,
Did I assume
we
improperly?
discussed that. I talked with our clerk, said that there was no supporting, is that what?
Well, you guys never gave, like, I'd like to put support on with it, so I would have liked to have,
Well, I agree,
like,
we didn't
updates
vote on
on
it.
it. Yeah, I would like to get some updates to give the people
And you, Mr.
information.
Supervisor, said,
Yeah.
let's bring it back for discussion at our next meeting.
And I did, and I also sent you an email asking you to please advise me of any questions or items that you would like,
I apologize that I did not see that. When did you send that?
at least 10 days ago.
Okay.
And I was surprised not to hear from you.
Unless I went to spam or something, but I apologize I did not see that, otherwise I would have
Yeah,
responded.
but I just wanted you to know that if you had certain issues that you were interested in, that we would have the information for you.
Okay, so I
But we
wish
should
I
still
would
do
have
it.
had that consideration when all this contract was drawn up and agreed to, but, so then I think, could we at least bring it back and discuss this thing and put this thing to bed?
Why don't we just meet together, and not a board?
Why don't we
could just-
put it on the next agenda, and we can get together everything we have and present everyone with what's going on with the contract.
I just think.
I agree with
Mr.
that. I agree with that 100%.
We're here to conduct the business of the
I
town,
understand that.
right? Not to openly debate.
And I don't want to debate. I'm not here to debate, I don't want to debate.
Would you please provide me with some itemization of what you would like, so that I can have it made available? And
Well,
perhaps
I
you can
could
receive
absolutely
it.
give you some basics, but the problem is, as the discussion evolves, who knows what comes up as we
Well,
talk about these things.
Here's the thing, I can provide you with anything that you would like, and then you and I could talk about it. And if you believe the public needs to know, you can tell the public everything.
I think we all should believe the public needs to know.
I'm just telling you that I think everything we've done is appropriate, but if you don't, that's fine. But I will provide you with anything that you want.
I haven't stated an opinion either way, but I do have questions. But obviously, our community wants to know.
Well, you know what? They do have certain questions, I agree. But why don't you provide me with what it is you would like so that I can provide it to you?
Well,
and then if you do have any other questions, we can settle it.
I would like to see it on our next agenda.
It will be on our next agenda, and I would like any updates we have on the project.
Because I'd like to put this thing to bed. It's gone on and on and on. And I don't know what's fact and what's fiction. So,
I gave you all the originals with the certificates of mailing, so I hope you have those.
so could we do that? Clerk,
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Would you please provide me, Mr. DeBoyer, with the information I'd like from you, so we can have it available?
Sure. Sure.
Will you allow questions from the public? Just ask.
All right. Do you have anything else, Mr. DeBoyer?
I do a
Okay.
couple items.
Go
So I'm
ahead.
just curious on the resignation of Mr. Campbell. So what's the plan? You did not accept the resignation. Where do we go from here? Obviously, there's a plan.
I have no plan.
It's not a question and answer.
So why would we not accept it and delay it
I
longer?
think it was, at least in my mind, it was something that should wait.
For what reason, though?
I don't have to explain myself.
No, you don't, but I can ask.
You can ask, but I don't have to explain myself.
No, you don't.
I would hope in the future it'll become apparent.
What about the applications?
These are board
So
comments,
do we
not
continue to take
questions.
applications now?
Yes,
We do.
yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then one question in your supervisor's report. So you talked about possibly getting this cost for the LG Wheel plant within the $2 million that we have grant money for.
Yes,
Does that consist of a downsizing of the plant and the collection system?
yes,
Okay. So are we thinking like just the downtown district?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, probably just the downtown.
okay.
We only have 600,000 left.
No, you got another million waiting.
Yeah, keep a million, keep in
do
mind, we had
have
a
it.
we had a
We have a
million
million.
and then a million contingent on
That's right.
furthering the
That's
project,
right.
so.
Yep.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
All right, Maureen, do you have anything?
I just want to say thank you to Pickleball 365 on 26 Mile. We appreciate your generosity, and I did put a Music in the Park flyer out there. It's not complete. We're still looking for sponsors if anybody wants to be a part of it. We're going to put a huge banner up, 18-foot wide by 3-foot high at every event, and there's about 8 events, so it'll travel around on the stage, and pass out flyers with the businesses who sponsor to give them some recognition and some advertising. So feel free to contact me.
Mr. Broker.
Keying off of John's request for information on Brian Campbell, a big T comes to my mind. Big T stands for transparency. You say you know what's going on, but you're not going to divulge it. That's transparency. I want to know what's going on. I want to know why. And if you're going to be transparent about your whole running on transparency and everything, let's get it out. Let's find out what it is. To me, it's ridiculous. We had a planning commission last Wednesday. We discussed renewal or a review of the proposed ordinances, 126 ordinances. Also looked at a campsite over on Harson's Island next to Minnick's Old Marina. We moved that back to the ZBA for a couple of conditions to be outlined. And congratulations to Cindy Babbitts and Sheriff. Thank you.
Jerry?
I don't have anything to say.
Okay, I just want to thank Cindy. She has worked for the township for a long time. She's done a lot of good work in this community. And I want to say that as a board, right now, I think we are not doing a great job. And I hope that in the future, as we go on, we can start coming together and do better for our community.
I just have a couple comments. Mr. Coletta keeps bringing forth the numbers on everything, but the vote back in a year ago, that was for a millage. That wasn't to decide whether people were in favor of having a ferry. That was to decide whether people wanted to spend up to 5 mils for a ferry. And the other thing is this, I mean, using his logic, if you vote against the school millage, then you don't want schools, right? He says, you vote against the millage for a ferry, you don't want a ferry? Okay, vote against the millage. And you don't want schools. That makes as much sense. It just makes no sense at all. You know, I've heard about this axe my tax thing, and I've never thought that the way we tax property is proper, because people own huge amounts of property valued at a lot of money. I give the example of Kevin Wyzorek all the time. He owns all that property, he pays so much in taxes, but he doesn't get any better service in our community than I get or anybody else here gets. You know, I think we should take a look at fixing taxes, but I'm not sure that's the answer. My own personal point of view. I do talk to MTerra a lot. I got another complaint today, heard the whole street didn't get picked up. You know what, I mean, we're kind of stuck. We can encourage them, and they do keep monitors on their truck. They keep GPS indication of every road they've been down, and they tell you, oh, we were down that road. We show it on our computer, so I don't know. But in any event, I think we can do better, and I think we will do better, and I hope the public appreciates that we try to do the best we can. And with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Approve. Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.